Welcome to episode 99 of the Sim Racing Show, and look where I am. I actually am in sim racing. I'm inside the sim racing. So big thanks to everyone who supports sim racing shows. Because of you that I can come to events like this and bring the news directly from the news to you. Because it's a good week if you're an Assetto Corsa Evo fan. It's a good week if you're an Ultimate fan as well. I'm going to tell you the news there. It's a mixed week if you're a Project Motor Racing fan. That's a bit more interesting. It's a good week if you're a Verstappen fan. It's a great week if you're a Fanatec fan, and it's a great week if you're a LOGITECH fan as well. And we're going to talk about other games as well on the sim and casual spectrum. So, firstly, I want you to let me know in the comments, what episode did you start watching the sim racing show? Put that number in the comments. But firstly, Assetto Corsa Evo, haven't talked about it for such a long time. Remember, Assetto Corsa Evo came out in January 2025, massive hype, overhyped in my opinion. Everyone was talking about free roam, like couldn't wait for the free roam. I said free roam ain't coming in 2025. Well, we're making headway in 2026 and there's still no free roam, but there is some good news coming. So, and by the way, Assetto Corsa Evo, I've always said it's going to be a good time trialing game. That's what I do in Evo, I time trial. But interestingly, I was driving my car on a real circuit yesterday in England. Where did I go to practice? The original Assetto Corsa with a mod for the circuit that I had. So for a lot of people, Assetto Corsa is still the king. Right, but Evo, good news, because a GT3 is coming, and we know people like GT3 cars, I like GT3 cars. The GT3 is the Ford Mustang GT3, okay? And that is coming in the Assetto Corsa Evo 0.6 update. So 0.6 is the next update, and that means that it's gonna complement the already existing BMW M4 GT3 that's in the game, which is quite nice. And also, they've teased the Ferrari 296 GT3. So we're going to have, it looks like 3 G3s already, which is very interesting because it's not enough for a whole class. But again, for a game like Evo, where I'm going to be time trialing, I don't mind as much. But Project Motor Racing, which we'll get onto, launched with the whole IMSA stack of GT3s, and people don't really like them. So I think I actually prefer the way Evo are doing it, where I'm going to be excited to drive this car. Sebring has also been teased, so I would expect to see Sebring come in 0.6 as well. And that could be a good combination, Ford Mustang GT3 at Sebring, and also the Ferrari 288 GTO also being teased. No release date for you yet. As soon as I have it, I will let you know. Right, Le Mans Ultimate is also coming out with an update, version 1.3. There's good news, there's bad news, okay? What do you want to start with, good news or bad news? Let's start with the bad news. Career mode is not coming in this one. So no career mode in 1.3. Interestingly, I spent last weekend with Sarah Bovey of the Iron Dames, who's had an incredible career, ups and downs, the highest highs, the lowest lows in Le Mans and all these races, and in Sebring, in Spa. And that made me really understand what a good career mode in like a GT3 racer should be. It's not just about sponsorship, it's also about the relations with your teammates. It's also about kind of mechanical issues and these kind of overcoming it. And there has to be ups and downs. It can't be a simple thing like Project Motor Racing. Project Motor Racing's career mode for me is actually a little bit insulting. Right, Le Mans Ultimate though, so that's not coming career mode yet, but what is coming in 1.3? Well, we do have quality of life improvements. Loading times should be improved by up to 20%. They say, we'll be the judge of that. But if you play Le Mans Ultimate, loading into Le Mans, it takes about 10 years. So 20 years there, it's gonna save us 2 years, fantastic. They also say that the menu and UI system have been brought up to modern standards. It is a little bit clunky, Le Mans Ultimate. When it came out, it looked like really fresh. And it's interesting again to see Project Motor Racing kind of like, not copy, but do a similar style to what LMU has with like the cards and everything. But LMU is still moving on with that. Obviously, they want to come to console. As I said last week, they said console is now happening early to mid 27. I would interpret that as late 2027. Okay, also LMU DLC. This is interesting. Listen up if you're an iRacing fan, because LMU DLC, the ELMS Pack 3 is coming. It's going to include Catalunya, a track I really enjoy, and another LMP3, but it's going to cost $8.99. So we're not too far away from iRacing territory. One track and one car, $8.99. However, a little sweetener here, owners of Packs 1 and 2 are going to get extra layouts for Silverstone and Paul Ricard. Now Silverstone, that's great news for me because I love driving international at Silverstone, and there's also going to be the Grand Prix wing pit lane configuration as well. So that's good news, they're adding more configurations. Will they be adding something like Daytona? They've been teasing things, we'll have to see.
Right, lots more news coming, but first a big thanks to GT Omega who've sponsored this sim racing show and made it possible. Remember, you can use code Kireth5 at gtomega.co.uk and get an extra 5% off at checkout. That's an extra 5% off on any deals they're currently running. And the interesting thing right now with GT Mega is that they're doing some colored accessories for cockpits. So the wheel deck, you can get nicely colored in like gold or red, and the same for things like shifter mounts as well. They look really cool, a nice little touch of the rig. Go check them out at gtmega.co.uk, and big thanks for sponsoring the Sim Racing Show.
Now, finally we get to Project Motor Racing in the Sim Racing Show. Always a hot topic. 2.0 has come. Some people like it, some people hate it. They don't help themselves by putting GT3s and hypercars on the pro images. By most people's accounts, they're the worst cars to drive in Project Motor Racing. I don't really know why they persist with that. It's controversial, but I would actually have withdrawn them from the game and focus in on the historic cars, like the Silk Cut Jaguar, like the 787B, like the NGT class, like the 964 Trophy. Those are the good cars to drive in Project Motor Racing, in my opinion. And that surely stems from when the game was called GT Revival, and it was all about like these historic cars. But you know, they persist with the GT3s and hypercars. They say they've made improvements. The reception has been mixed, to say the least. Some people had big performance issues. Project Motor Racing say they fix it in a hot patch. Now what they've done, big news, it's free to play at the moment. As I speak, it's free to play. They're doing free to play, I believe, until the 31st of March. So fingers crossed, if you want to, you're able to try it for free. And if you do try it for free, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because a lot of people have, let's say, charged emotions about Project Motor Racing, like whether you bought it and refunded it, whether you bought it and you want it to be successful, whether you didn't buy it and you therefore don't want it to be successful. So if you just try it out for free, let me know your honest thoughts. Right, Max Verstappen. As you can see, I'm in behind the Red Bull sim racing stuff here. I made a video a while ago where Team Redline, remember they did like an incredible cheat at the Nürburgring 24 hours. They started on the qualifying setup. They managed to get that passed for the race, but then they pitted, put fuel in, and then they had like a really low ride height, which meant they were faster, even though they took like towing to the pits. Anyway, I said, oh, Max Verstappen, that's really clever. Some people said, oh, that's not Max Verstappen, that's Redline. Well, the cat's out of the bag now, because Max Verstappen has now formally rebranded Team Redline as Verstappen Sim Racing. Now, this is a big deal because Max Verstappen is a massive advocate of sim racing, and he wants to take sim racers and put them in real cars. So Chris Lollim is a great example, who Max has been kind of mentioning. I mean, Chris Lollim had a great karting career, let's not forget, but also a big sim racer, and he's now confirmed to be doing GT World Challenge Europe this year. This is great news for sim racers because I can see Verstappen doing more competitions, maybe doing some more peripherals and stuff like that. It does look like a new entrant into sim racing, and let's see where that goes with Verstappen sim racing. Right, I'm here at DreamHack at the F1 Esports. I'm going to walk over here because the Fanatec and Formula One deal is continuing. You can see on the front here, all of these rigs are Fanatec rigs, Club Sport DD+, Fanatec, CSL load cells, I think, and the Formula One wheel as well. And they formally confirmed that that partnership between Fanatec and Formula One is continuing in a multi-year deal. So that means that you're going to have Fanatec products at every real F1 weekend, which is big for them. They're also supplying all the rigs here for the F1 World Championship, even where the teams actually have other sponsors. If I come around here, maybe you can see there's a McLaren rig there, if you can see it. They're actually sponsored by LOGITECH. It says LOGITECH on it, but it's a Fanatec rig. So quite interesting there. And also, maybe most importantly for us, we can expect Fanatec to release new F1 branded steering wheels and other themed peripherals at some point in the future. Hopefully proper F1 steering wheels are going to come. Maybe a new F1 cockpit as well. We will see. Now, other thoughts in the sim racing show, there's a new DLC for Roadcraft. iRacing Arcade is adding a new cater room. They've teased that. Interestingly, the hardcore iRacing fans are saying, hang on, I want a cater room in iRacing proper. So as I predicted, there's kind of like a little bit of tension there between like full fat iRacing and iRacing Arcade. Formula Legends, a similar game to iRacing Arcade, has released wheel support, and Forza Horizon 6 system requirements did come out last week, and they don't look intense at all. You don't need a 5090, they say, to run in 4K with ray tracing, and also the minimum specs look to be quite reasonable as well. A lot of controversy in the graphics space, but let me turn this around here. There's a lot of controversy. I can't turn around. A lot of controversy, in fact, I can just do it like this. In the graphics space, and I've come here to DreamHack because Nvidia have been showing off some like Gen AI upscaling, and it's massively controversial, but if they're going to do it, surely AMD, who you might have seen in the background, are gonna follow suit. I went to Las Vegas, I spoke with AMD, I spoke to them about sim racing. They understand that sim racing is like a really strong test of upscaling because you need to have such high frame rates, but so much is changing pixel to pixel because you're traveling at speed, a bit different to like a Twitch shooter. So we'll see if they do some stuff specifically for sim racing. I'll keep you up to date. But yeah, thank you so much everyone who supports Sim Racing Show. I'll see you for episode 100 next week and let me know in the comments what show you started watching. I'll see you next time.